hello. Welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. I didn't have any tea to get, so therefore there's no tea. But I do have my cup mug. Ow, ow. And everybody else but River has their cup mug. And it's not River's fault because River should have had a cup mug months and months ago, but we don't know what's happening. But hey, y'all, you can get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so they say everywhere but Brazil. So you can get your cup mug, except if you live in Brazil. I don't know what's happening. But get your cup mug. Period.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I am wearing my brand new shirt that I just got in the mail yesterday. My Nicole Page Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia shirt. Yes.
Period. Love
um,
that.
and, and right now, I'm just drinking some water.
Cool.
And hi, I'm River, your Brazilian correspondent here on the Cup. And today it's kind of cold, so I have some hot chocolate on my Hello Kitty mug. We do ship to Brazil, but at your own risk of it being stuck in customs for the cup mug.
Yeah.
At your own risk.
At your own risk. I don't know what to tell you, but trust and believe we try to get you there. But y'all see who's here. This person needs no introduction because they are already amazing. They're great. Their mother, their Miss Congeniality themselves from Drag Race Canada is Jaylene Tyme, y'all. I'm so excited to have you here.
So excited to be here. This is so great. I love following along and being able to chat and talk about the looks and just really celebrate the art of drag. I think it's amazing.
Absolutely. And I don't think we can have a better time to have you here because it's merged. We're talking All Star Season 10, and it's merged. All the brackets, the winners from these brackets are now merged together. So we're going to give y'all like a little brief recap about what we thought of the season thus far. I would like to say mid-season, but it's not really mid-season because we still got a whole nother part of this to go.
Three
But,
quarters.
three-quarters of the way. But it's merged season.
Maybe.
Absolutely. Merge season is where we're at. I love that. But we are going to talk all about all of that and do all the things. But before we do, y'all know what we got to do. Please hit the subscribe button because we are on a mission here at the Cup and across all four of our channels to hit 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. So if you enjoy the content that we're giving you, please subscribe to this channel. We would appreciate that. That would be great. Subscribe to this channel and all of our other channels. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links if you need to check us out on the go. Please follow us and listen to us over there. Join our Patreon. We got a lot of fun things going on in our Patreon, early access things that you can see before anybody else, and exclusive content that you will probably never see on the channel, but only in our Patreon. So join the Patreon to see all the fun things that we have back, going on there. And follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Skies. So follow us on all of those places. And yeah.
And follow Jaylene.
And of course, follow
If you
Jaylene.
don't already, and if you don't,
Why aren't you?
Why?
Like, what is going on? You should be doing that
Period.
because she's mother. Period.
Yeah.
And you know what?
David's screen there was frozen for a second, and there's
Yeah.
a big smile on his face. I'm like, he is happy.
I know. I'm always smiling. But I was going to point out that, Jaylene, you have a very distinct honor for our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You are the very first queen to debut their own cup mug. So that's a big deal.
That's huge. We love that. We love that for us.
Yes.
Because
I feel very honored.
I did jump in Jaylene's live last night on TikTok, and she was talking about the podcast as I jumped in and was drinking from the cup mug as I jumped in, and I was like, "Not this! This is like meant to happen." So
Yeah.
absolutely love it. So let's get into this because we're talking about all of All Stars 10 and these brackets. let's start with the. I want because I've heard Rivers and David's opinions on a lot of these queens in this brackets. I really want to hear about from Jaylene. Let's talk about this first bracket because I don't know about y'all. I think for me, this is probably the most I've been excited. I was most excited about this bracket after watching it. I thought this was my favorite bracket to watch, even after the last two. The first bracket was kind of my favorite to watch. What about you, Jaylene? What do you think about this first bracket?
Well, I think first of all, I just want to say that how exhilarating it is for me to see trans excellence being showcased. And, there is now, like, I think for a while there was this sort of little awkwardness when we kind of spoke about it. Now that we have, like, I think, for example, I want to say this, Carrie Colby, the first time I saw her in a confessional as a trans woman. It's like she was one of the first to be like a trans woman in confessionals. And so
Mm,
now to see sort of that expand and to see her really kind of lead the way in a sense that it was exciting for me. And I know a lot of trans artists around the world seeing that happen, realized there was a shift happening. And so to
mm,
come in to see this first segment, to watch the confidence from Bosco and to see just the beauty of her artistry, it just is like it's just so exciting to watch.
hmm
And
Any,
everyone falling in love,
mm,
the people that were not already, right? But like literally everyone being obsessed with her immediately.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I have to say that just coming into that and just seeing like there's a real merge of real fashion excellence, but also
mm,
really great personalities and also glow ups, like to where
yes.
people are from their seasons have been able to kind of really show up in a way that has it's because there's something about that people like when you've been on the show and after you finish airing and you see kind of everything and but you also meet people from the international family and you just there's something that shifts inside of you and I just like to see that you just want to do better. You just
Mm,
love the fact that you get to be part of this amazing franchise, but you just want to do better. And that's kind of what happens is you just see it and you're like, oh my goodness, let's just continue to move forward. And I think that's what we're seeing here is like coming into these brackets. It's like all stars, and there are some that just finished the season and went on to this, but it still is that vibe of just pushing forward and revealing your best artistry.
yeah, I was one of those people. I did not know who Bosco was before this season, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like this a lot." I like what I was saying, and I enjoyed. Like I said, I enjoyed this bracket
Yeah.
a lot. Like it was this. I think this was the perfect bracket to start this whole thing off. So them being first, Aja never seen like I had not seen a lot of these queens on their original seasons. So this was my first introduction to pretty much all of them.
Yeah, and
Well,
I think
most of
also
them.
too,
Most
it
of them, I think. Yeah.
it's like to see Irene, it's like she went home first and to come back and she was able to truly showcase her brilliance.
Mm,
That I loved. And her acting was so fun to
mhm.
watch too, right?
Right. Yeah. Everybody kept saying David loved Irene, and David told me you were like Irene. I was like, okay, that's fine. Let's see. Love Irene. Love Irene. I'm like, this is
Mhm.
I just feel it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes to show with Irene that you can have a bad shake of challenges, and maybe the first challenge you get is not something that's in your ball court, but you can come back and have a different grouping of challenges and really thrive. So I've wondered what you thought of that, Jaylene, and are there other people that you think could have a similar journey? Maybe even people from Canada's Drag Race.
Yeah, well, like I said, I love the fact that when you see the artist, because if you are on Drag Race, you've went through like a rigorous audition process to get there, and so you already you have the talent and all that. So I don't really think that it's really communicated like in a sense like if you go home first, that doesn't take away from the star you are. It just kind
Hmm.
of just the way things fall into place for that event. But I do love the fact that we're able to see that, and I do like as far as it's like for example, I guess I'll use Tiffany for my season. It's like somebody, she went home in the second, and Tara, like they went home, but they are amazing artists and such amazing dancers and performers. It's
Mm-hmm.
like for them, it's like I can see them coming back and also really doing something. If there was a dance challenge right in the beginning, would things have been different?
Right.
Mhm.
True. True. For somebody else who just stood out for me in this first bracket was Phoenix. I didn't know a lot about Phoenix. I didn't know a lot about any, and I was like, oh, I kind of enjoyed Phoenix in this bracket. I enjoyed Phoenix. I enjoyed Olivia. I thought this, like I said, I think this was such a good group of people, and I like how they set the standards of how they wanted that bracket to go, and it was interesting. I will say, I just enjoyed them. And Deja. I fell in love with Deja after the show. After the
Ah,
show was, because like
love
now I
Deja.
follow Deja on TikTok and I'm like listening to their lives and I'm like, oh, I really do like Deja. Deja's great. And I love that they are still introducing people like myself who didn't watch these original seasons of these girls and starting to know them for who they are. And I'm like, okay, let me go back. Now it makes you interested in maybe going back to watch and see what they were like on their regular season.
Yeah.
Does it is there a glow up on this, from their original seasons to All Stars, or or not? I just enjoy. Do you like this format for the show? Do you enjoy this format?
Well, let me quote Safira Cristal. And she was in an interview and she said, my main intention coming in here is to love on all these girls, on all these artists. Come in and
Mm-hmm.
love on them. And I just want to say that because that's kind of how I am. I really want to make sure that we recognize the artists that have been chosen to be part of this because
Mm-hmm.
they are our stars. And so for Phoenix to come on, if you actually look at her backstory and see how she's contributed towards the drag community and her community, she is like legendary. And so the fact that she came on after so many years of not doing it, I mean, that takes a whole lot of like it's not easy to do. So I was just like, I'm just so glad to see that because, from the early seasons, it's sometimes you continue on with drag and some don't, and the fact that she had such a magnificent presence within drag, I was really happy to see her on there. As far as the format, it's kind of hard to say whether I like it or not because it is different. I'm still just kind of
Mm-hmm.
wrap my head around it, just the point system. And
Of
of course,
course.
like we'll get to the next bracket, but like obviously, it can be thrown off by the decisions of one of the contestants, right?
Absolutely. It can
Absolutely.
go either way with how these brackets are played out. It can play out one way or another. And we saw that throughout the whole process.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the one thing that I actually really enjoyed about because I agree with you, Lana. I think now watching all three brackets, there are things that I enjoyed about each one. But if
Mm-hmm.
I think about it overall, I think the orange one was my favorite to watch
Mm-hmm.
because for me, as a person that is not really a fan of reality television necessarily in general, but I like drag and I like drag race. I like the orange bracket because for me it was the perfect blend of drag competition and reality TV. I think it
Mm.
was just enough reality TV, and it was more focused on the drag competition with still a little bit of the reality, you know?
That
So
makes
that was just
sense.
it, like, yeah, because the other two had, we'll get into that, but they had
Mm-hmm.
too much of the reality and not enough of the drag competition for me.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of some of the reality TV element, some of the drama, I
Hmm.
think each bracket has had its share of drama, including the first one. So I wanted to ask about a couple of the moments. But first, since you kind of touched on it with Phoenix, when you had Ice Spice there saying, "I've heard you're a legend,
Ooh.
but I don't know. I wouldn't know it by what I just saw."
Baby.
I was wondering what you thought of her comments and Phoenix's reaction on Twitter after the episode aired.
Well, I think that I think that's one of the things when you're put onto like that platform like that, you just got to realize that it's be a first responder, not a first reactor in a sense. Like I try to look at things like that is just to realize is that you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And that's the reality here. So you got to go into it and just realize that people have their different views of how they view what you do. And obviously that person didn't know her history, and I think we chose to make that comment. And I think maybe sometimes it's like, you've just got to really, like, Jinx would say, like, water off a duck's back, right? You know what I mean? It's like, you've got to just realize that, okay, so that's just your thing, but I know who I am. I know who I have worked to be able to create as an artist. So I didn't actually see the Twitter though, so I'm not really quite sure what the response was to that. But you can enlighten me on that if you want.
Yeah, she gave a very defensive tweet, and she was not happy with Ice Spice after she saw it. She's come out and said, "Oh, I couldn't hear her comments in the moment. I just saw everybody's reaction. So her watching it on TV was the first time she heard it. And so obviously she had feelings and went to Twitter and kind of lashed out, which is fair in the moment. But she's since realized, oh, maybe I went a little too hard with my response."
Yeah, well, let's just remember that social media too is like, I tell you, think about things before you put them out there too, right? Because they can kind of, you've seen some real, what do they call them? I can't say it on here, but they've caused a little reactions between people.
Oh yeah, some things aged like milk.
Yeah.
Quickly, very quickly.
I just feel like Phoenix didn't need to say anything because we were going to say it for her, because I was very upset about that comment. I let it be known on this podcast how upset I was about that comment, because I'm like, Ice, baby girl, you only been in the game for a hot minute, and Phoenix been around here for some years. So you can't. Just because you don't know, like you said, you don't know her story, you don't know her career. If you heard she was a legend, then let her be a legend. Like, that's literally all you have to say was, "You're a legend. I hear you're a legend, but I really wanted to see more from you in this performance." Like, that's all you had to say. You didn't have to go off and be like, "But I didn't see legend." Like, you trying to be sassy and cute, and it ain't necessary to you to be that cute when you got a legend in your midst. So I just want,
It
I
was
just
the
like the proper
delivery,
respect.
right?
Right. It was the delivery of how she said it, because you have people who have worked years to perfect their craft, and you should respect them for what they do. If a legend is amongst my midst, I don't care if they didn't do a great performance or they had a bad day and they were singing off, whatever. They are still a legend. You respect that work. You respect the work that they put in, and just like, it was a bad night for you, but it's okay. You
Yeah.
are a legend and you deserve all the flowers in the world. But I didn't appreciate that. And I didn't even know, and I didn't even know Phoenix. Like, I wasn't
Right.
like a Phoenix fan staying from the back in the day. It just felt inappropriate to me in that moment. I was like, you don't say that to no, especially somebody who's on that stage entertaining you. Give them that respect. Give them they props. Like, I didn't like it. So Phoenix didn't have to say anything. She should have just been like, "Okay, Ice Spice, whatever," and let the fans have it. Like, because the fans would go in for that. We did, and most people did for her. So
It may have been shocking for her to see it as it
yeah,
aired, because you
yeah,
don't see it before it airs, right?
right. I
No, it's
get it.
because of the outfit that she was wearing, that latex outfit that covered her ears, and so
Yeah,
she
she probably didn't hear it.
literally didn't hear it at the time. So she
Oh,
only saw it but the girl said that I think the girl said that she was shading her or something, or rigging
Yeah,
her, but they
right.
didn't really tell her what it was.
What
So
it was.
she saw it
Yeah.
for the first time when we did. That's why I think
yeah.
Okay.
it happened that way.
So let's talk about some of the looks from this first bracket, and if we had any standouts, some favorites. If Jaylene, if you had any standout looks from the first bracket, I don't know, because like for me, I can't remember 2 days ago, so I'm surely not gonna remember what they looked like all those times ago. If
Well,
you do, you do.
yeah, like I mentioned, it was like this real celebration of fashion, and Bosco was like that
Mhm.
outfit that was like she was cut in half, like in the middle, like that
Yeah,
waist. Was it the coffin?
The
Uh,
coffin.
yeah,
was like spectacular, but I can't get out of my mind Tina Burner's gold pants. Like that,
mm,
when she did that, made the outfit herself, the design challenge, and she came out with that it was like rich underneath, like the red underneath the cape, and it was just so like tailored like beautifully. It just looked amazing.
Yeah, that's bracket 2. Yeah,
Bracket
That
two.
was
Timber.
I went
yeah,
too
but that was
too
yeah.
You,
far.
yeah, you went to the next bracket, but that's okay.
But that's okay. It was the first episode. You were
That was the
close.
first. You were there.
Oh, but let's go to Bosco then. And like I was like wondering if she was wearing a breastplate because she was so perfect. And
Yeah,
so
no.
Oh my
think that
God.
what's standing out to
No.
me would be Bosco. She was like, and her wigs
Yeah.
and just the way she was. Oh my God, when she did that lip sync with all that fabric swirling around.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
And then the reveal and the way that she did the reveal. Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
But also her entrance look. Remember the one with the tie and the big shoulder? Like that was such a moment. And also shout out to Irene with that alien in the head, the politician.
yeah,
Yes.
That was
yeah.
great too. That was really
Yeah.
great.
Any standouts for you, David? You remember any that you just was
I
like,
mean,
yes.
yeah, you all have named a lot of them for me. It's like pretty much everything that Bosco and Irene have worn, I've been very impressed by. I think Deja had a couple of good looks too. Um, yeah, it's really been overall a strong group of looks from
Yeah.
this first category.
Yeah, because I think Olivia has some looks that I was like, yes, girl.
Mhm.
The makeover
Makeover.
look. The makeover looks. Yes, I
Mm.
loved Olivia in the makeover look. And I was like, that was
And
my favorite
promos.
look. Yeah, and promos too. Like,
And promos.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you-
Irene for the promo.
if you look at Olivia though too, like she's an example too of that glow up that we're talking about.
mm-hmm.
Like coming on and just be exquisite, like so elegant and so beautiful.
Absolutely. So let's move on to group number 2 since we started talking about them a little bit. Let's move on to group number 2 with Carrie
Love
Kobe.
Pink.
Love Pink. Love Pink. Carrie Kobe, Nicole Paige Brooks, Lydia Butthole Collins, Mistress Isabel Brooks, Tina Burner, and Georges. That was a group. They that was the turning point, I would say, in this whole situation, how they handled things. And I think this is where you talk about, River, that the reality TV crept in a little bit more than the competitive competition. And it was all due to one Mistress Isabel Brooks and her shenanigans that she decided to pull, which I'm saying I'll still go stand by it. For a reality TV fan like myself, I was like, okay, I I live for that because that's the kind of stuff you want to see. But as a fan of the people she was doing it against, didn't quite like it as much. It wasn't as fun to watch it, her do it to Carrie Colby, because I, again, didn't watch Carrie Colby on her original season. Watched Carrie Colby in this season, was like, I like her. She's kind of cool. I enjoy her. Tina, I like her. She's kind of Nicole Page Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia. I was like, love her, fan of her now. Follow her on TikTok and everything because I'm like, I like her. But it was just like, how in the world? It was fun to watch, but it was not fun to watch at the same time. But I enjoyed this group as well. Lydia coming right off of her season into this All Stars, literally had very limited time to get herself together, and she did it. And I'm like,
5
hey,
days.
5 days you had to get
5 days.
yourself together for an All Star.
Wild.
It's crazy to me. So, what are we thinking about group number 2, Jaylene?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I feel like sort of balanced now. I think at first in the middle of it, like you, it was like kind of shocking on not quite understanding, what was going on and how I felt about it. But then if I step back, like I said, some things that stand out for me was like the fashion, and like I said, Tina Burner's outfit was like amazing.
Mhm.
That was so good.
I'm glad that was celebrated. But also to think of Lydia's, like the fact that she makes all her stuff and she doesn't just make it. Like for example, like I think of like the cow print fashion moment that she had that was like it was like just so like next level.
Mm,
Like, I mean, if you're using cow prints and things like that, it can come across as costumey, right?
yes.
Really came across as real fashion for that. But also her 80s when she did like the she had the like the neon colors, and like that was like just so fashion. So I just think that the whole thing, there was like the drama, but there was also to like Carrie Colby is just stunning to watch on stage as well. So, and there I actually, now that I look back at it, of course I was like, I think I was kind of mad at Mistress for like doing that to like Nicole Brooks. I was so happy to see her on that. I love the fact that now, like, because she's literally has like a lot of new fans now because she's awesome. Like, she's got such a
Hmm.
wonderful personality, so fun and just so it's old school, but yet she is just like, she's very clever and funny. And I kind of, now that I look back and able to kind of like think about it, I did really enjoy that bracket.
Hmm.
I think the fan response being so incredible for Nicole is because she's real. Like the it boil it all of that you said, but to me, like, it all boils down to the fact that she's real. She's just herself, and we love to see it. She was the best part of this bracket for me,
Mm,
for sure. The fashion, yes, I did enjoy the runways as well, but like when it comes to the entertainment part of why I was enjoying watching, it was her for sure.
Well, and those
yeah.
performances too, like I said, when they come back for this, they've been performing on the circuit and out, like Georges, like watching them perform, it's like so smooth and like it's excellent.
Yeah. Seeing Georgia's move is, it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. She's a great dancer, and it's watching, it was the hip hop performance that they, the roast, the
Mm.
hip hop roast that they
The
did,
rapping
the
roast.
rapping roast.
That was
The
iconic.
rapping roast.
That was
It's the
so
song is
good.
so good too.
It
Like the
was
song.
so good. And I'm like, I just enjoyed, like, I don't think anybody did a bad job in that roast. Everybody did a good job in that roast. Just some people's performances was better than others. But I enjoyed George's. I enjoyed, like, I thought Mistress did good. I enjoyed it, but I thought George's ate, like the way she moved but then I was a little annoyed because she didn't write that. But I was like, okay, well, whatever. That's here nor there. That's neither here nor there. But I thought she performed it well. I thought Lydia's was really good in this performance. I think Tina did really well too, and I was like, Tina and Nicole Page. I thought Nicole should have been in the top
Nicole's
two.
line has now become like iconic.
I think Nicole should have been in the top two for me. I don't know. I just really enjoyed her verse. Maybe her performance wasn't what everybody wanted it to be, but I'm like, what y'all expect her to do?
She had the
Flip,
best
kick, and
reads, that's for sure.
that's, I'm like, what y'all expect her to do? Flip, kick, and split and dip? No, she's not gonna do that. She's gonna just read you down and call it a day. I enjoyed
That's
it.
why I said if it had been a regular roast, I think she could have won.
I think so too. I think so too. Which I would have preferred a regular roast if I was being honest.
Me too.
But if you have to admit, like, you could go back and watch that over and over.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
It's
for
just
sure.
got that little,
Yeah. It was the moment. It was the moment.
yeah.
I enjoyed that moment. Um, Anybody else that we want to highlight and talk about in this second group before we get into these? Well, we talked about the fashions a little bit, but who
Jaylene
else?
did mention Tina the with the outfit. I did want to
Uh-huh.
go beyond just that outfit that I also did think was amazing. As someone that is learning to sew, I'm just like, how,
Did you right?
literally how, amazing. But just the whole arc and redemption of Tina, the whole story of Tina.
Hmm.
Not just that look, but just I loved seeing the redemption that she got just overall.
Well, I think this is also, we have to remember, everyone has their own personalities, their own style of drag, and their own way that they what their strengths are. And when you go in there and you have different personalities, it's like herding cats sometimes. It's like you got like
Mhm.
just so many different dynamics to pay attention to. And I think that it's important for people to keep in check as well. Just, you got to tell yourself, keeping your own balance here. You are an artist. This is who you are when you are out working. And she works a lot when she's doing her craft. And so when you come in there, it's like it's a game and it's a TV show, and there's different ways that people will try to throw you off. You got to kind of just always be kind of like really aware of all the stuff around you, right?
Yeah. I feel like Tina fell for Mistress's traps a few times, like where when she didn't need to, where like she could have just focused on what she was doing and didn't need to really get into all of that. But we're human. We're not cold-blooded, you know. You get heated sometimes and you have to fight back. I get it.
Yeah. I think Carrie, I felt the worst for Carrie in this whole situation because I was like, Carrie keeps falling for these. Oh yeah,
And
I'm
she's so
gonna do this.
nice.
She's so nice. She's so sweet. And so she was just like, oh yeah, I trust that you'll do what you say you're gonna do. I'm like, baby, I wouldn't trust Mistress from the first after that. Like everything she says to me is not true. Everything she says to me is a lie after that first situation. I would have like, she could have told me that the sky is blue, and I'm like, no, it's not. You are lying. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I wouldn't trust anything she said. Like, right, like you can keep that to yourself. I don't want to hear it. Like, girl, gone, girl, bye. But I, I,
Mm-mm.
I just, I felt so bad for Carrie. I really, I was one of those people. I think David, you agree with me. I was at the edge of my seat, hoping and praying that Mistress would finally just fall into somebody else's trap. Like, give the point to Carrie at the end, so we can, she can go and you can stay. And it,
Well, I found that was like shocking
ah,
at the end too, when at the end she said she didn't give Carrie because she was fake.
fake.
But meanwhile, she didn't know that she didn't choose her,
Right?
you know?
Oh, but I'm
Yeah.
like, how you, mistress girl, come here. How you gonna call somebody fake when you
Come
just
here.
come here, girl? Like, step to the front. How you gonna call somebody fake when you faked your way through the whole thing? Like, you've been fake to everybody in there. You can't call Carrie fake because she was not going to give you the point like she said you were when you did the same thing to her. Like, you can't do that. That is that's. But I was hoping though. I had my dreams shattered though when she was like, "I didn't pick you." I was like, "Well, okay, all right, Lydia. I guess it's you gave it to Lydia. Fine, great." But I thought that was one. As much as, like I said, as much as I didn't like who she did it to, I thought that was a very entertaining bracket to watch. It made television for people, like people talked about it. And I feel
Yeah.
like that was the most talked about bracket of this season because people were talking about what is going to happen next. What are they going to do? These points meant something in this bracket because everybody was shuffling things around. Not that it didn't mean that in the other brackets, but they were playing the game with this bracket. And it kind of made it interesting to watch if you're a fan of reality TV and you just like the drama of it all, and a lot of people just like the pettiness and the drama of it all. So I thought it was fun TV. I think this was the most talked about bracket, but I think, like I said, the first bracket for me was my most fun to watch. This one
Yeah.
was the most talked about bracket, and I think the fashions were pretty decent in this bracket. I enjoyed
Well,
them.
well, let's remember that we're bringing forward a new presence of these artists, right? So
Hmm.
after the fact, they're gonna do it helps their career. Like they're
Yeah,
going to be doing there's like for example Aja, to watch her go through her transition and and be part of like the ball culture, and
hmm,
to, it's really empowering and affirming for her to be able to come back and just those dance moves she was doing. Like I mean, like
Hmm.
that is
The
her
little dance.
power.
The little
hmm,
dance with the feet. Yes.
Like, just
hmm.
think about that. I think of all the girls that you get an opportunity to come back onto Drag Race and you've done it. It's you just got to remember, no matter what happens, you just got to come in and do your thing the best that
Right.
you can with it, because this is you're gonna it's going to represent where you go next with your career. And so even when you
Hmm.
go through challenging things, it's how you navigate through that the people who hire you are paying attention to as well, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I failed to say, in the first bracket that moved on to the next part was Irene Alien, El Bosco, and Aja. Failed to say that for the first bracket. But in the second bracket, the three that moved on to the next round was Lydia Butthole Collins, Mistress Isabel Brooks, and Georges. I we agree with the first group. Everybody here, we all said it. We agree with that. Those
Yeah.
three should have gone on. It was like, yeah, absolutely. Um, I could have seen other people switch if they needed to, and it wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been mad at if a switch happened. But I was happy with this first group. The second group, it was kind of like maybe like we wanted somebody else to be in there, but it was like, but these three deserved it too at the same time because they did do what they needed to do. But we could have seen somebody else in place. Carrie Colby switching up with Mistress. We would have loved to see that. We would, it would have been nice. But I still think that these three actually they deserve their spots in the for the next round. So that's going to be interesting to see. Now we move down to our purple bracket.
I just wanted to
Yes.
quickly mention because we
Go ahead.
didn't about the looks because
Oh,
Jaylene did mention Lydia's Wild West
hmm
with the cow print, but I just wanted to shout out Tina's look
Tina's
for that
wild.
runway, the
Yes,
brown.
that
That was so
brown.
good. The
So,
inspired the woman Wonder Woman inspired.
hmm
That was really good too.
that was
Just shout
good.
out because that was so good.
Yeah, my favorite look from the season so far is actually from this bracket.
Ooh.
And
Mm.
yeah, it was the
Oh,
Little Shop of Horrors runway when
Mm.
Carrie Colby came out, and it looked like she was falling out of her thing, but it was like a reveal. It was so unexpected for me, and I thought it was stunning.
her
What was
entrance
that?
look was beautiful as well.
Yeah,
The purple.
Tina's look for that Little Shop of Horrors runway was really good to the flower,
Hmm.
and I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
the flower that opened. Yeah.
it was very pretty, and I was like, I really enjoyed that look as well. I
George's
just
too. I
Yeah,
think that was
George's
a
look
good
was good.
runway.
Yes, I do. I think that was a really good runway. I think that was probably the best overall runway that we saw in thus far at that point because everybody did really good in that runway. I don't think anybody had a busted up look, even though I didn't really like Nicole's look, the cactus look as much, but I
Just
understood it.
after the reveal, it was bad.
Right. After
Before it was
before
good.
the reveal, I was like, oh, this is great. And then she took it off and I was like, oh no, put it back on. Like that would have been better. But I enjoyed it still because like you said, before she took it off, it was like a really good look. So I don't think anybody had a busted look that runway, but it was just a good runway overall. I enjoyed that.
Yep.
But
I
any
did want
other
Tina to
about
move on though. I did.
I
Like
did too.
I get it, but for
Yeah.
me, I just really wanted to see Tina move on. But there's still hope.
I grew look, there's
She
still
did
hope.
move on because they shared that meme of her.
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
And there's still hope. Somebody coming back. We don't know who, but somebody coming back. But then we go to the purple bracket
Mhm.
and group three, and that's Acid Betty, Denali, Alyssa Hunter, Ginger Minge, Cynthia Lee Fontaine, Cuckoo, and Diabetti. What do we think about this bracket?
Very dynamic.
This was the one I was most excited for.
Mhm.
When they were all announced,
Yes.
I was like, I cannot wait because the queen that I was I was excited about the whole cast, right? Except most of them, except one. But the queen that I was most excited to see was Acid Betty because I just love her from her season. I'm obsessed. And we'll get into what actually happened during the bracket, but she was the one that I was excited and just rooting for. And her
Mhm.
promo was amazing for this as well.
Mhm. Mhm. David, what you think about?
Yeah, I agree. This was a group I was most looking forward to. It's funny because the first two groups, I was like, okay, I definitely want this person to move on and maybe this person, and then I don't care. But this was the group where I'm like, I need four of these people to move through. Like, how can I make that happen? I can't sacrifice one of these four people. But unfortunately, two of them didn't move on. But Yeah, I just thought this was a very intriguing bracket. I liked it way more than the internet did, though.
Hmm. I this I dubbed all of these brackets as most entertaining, most watched. This was the most controversial bracket. This was the
Mhm.
most controversial that everybody seemed to be divided on and had reasons or whatever your reasons were saying about the different queens. It was a lot of discourse amongst the internet about this bracket. And I was like, at first, I was like, okay, I understand some of it. I understand why people feel this way about certain things. But I was like, but why are we going so hard about it? Like, it's still entertaining. I'm still enjoying watching them. Why are we go? We got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Ginger Minge and how everybody was coming for Miss Ginger about, oh, they rigged this for Ginger. Oh, they brought her back and they rigged this whole thing so she can make it to the next round. And I don't care if they did or not. It is what it is. She's gonna be there.
Well, let's make it very clear, and I've seen her live. She's spectacular as a host in her acting and her performance. She's a comedian. It's like to watch her, like to see her. I'm not surprised that she would come above with all those acting challenges. She is that good.
Mm-hmm.
But also too, I think that it's a different style of drag that people are like, you see that, and maybe this is her fourth. Is it her fourth time? Something like that.
Yeah.
She's,
Yeah.
she's not. Sometimes people feel a certain way about that, but I mean, I don't think it's not fair. It's not fair to her. She just kind of comes to do her thing, and I think that sometimes too, there was the Denali and her that dance, the lip sync, and two different various styles
Two different styles.
of drag, and you know, yeah, I feel like it's interesting. This bracket too was something that I didn't quite understand it. What was kind of going on, but
Yeah. Go ahead, River.
Okay, so here's my thing, because I like Ginger. I think she's talented. I'm not mad that she's here a fourth time. I want to see queens come back. Like I don't necessarily need queens to come back immediately. I'm not mad either, but like that's not what I would choose if I was casting, but like it's fine. I'm not mad. Like Lydia, it was cool. But I like seeing queens back a fourth, like a third, a fourth time. I like seeing that if it's like a few years later. I like it. I have no problem with it. And Ginger is so talented that my thing is production is doing her and us a disservice with the way that they are producing. Because I know that reality shows are produced. That's not what I in particular am complaining about. I just don't think I think it's badly produced is the thing. I don't want it to be so obvious. It's okay if for example she won all of the challenges, but did she have to win both like I don't know, maybe even if they did think that she won both lip syncs, right? But just so it's easier for them to sell the story to us so that she doesn't get backlash, because she's getting hate because of the way that production is trying to sell her to us, when most of us have already bought the product. Most of us already liked Ginger, so we feel like they're trying to shove her down our throat when we already like her, and we don't need them to push her that hard. She's talented enough to do just as well as she did on her own. You know what I mean? And I think maybe it's the fact that it was all group challenges, that a design challenge had also a storytelling aspect, and that they had also a country challenge and an acting challenge. I'm not saying that's not Ginger's fault, is the point. But
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
production could have done a better job to make it less obvious for us and still make Ginger go through or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just the way that it's being sold that is not good. I don't know. What do y'all think? Because that's my thing.
Well, I was like, I'm kind of now you're saying that I'm remembering Diabetes and just seeing sort of her coming back, and from her season, it was like a very different person now. And she's found like her designing, which is something I didn't know she was that strong at, right? When you're saying that her and Ginger were partners for that first one, right? So I'm seeing that, and I'm thinking Cuckoo as well. Now I'm getting all their faces in my head as we're talking about it. And Cuckoo coming, Cynthia is like that in like she sends people messages like on, like she's like that like in person. So all these dynamics are like watching her with sorry, name escaped me. The other Latin diva,
Alyssa Hunter.
Alyssa, yeah. And kind of watching that connection too. I'm just kind of piecing it together as I'm thinking right now. But for Ginger, I just don't think it's fair that like that people are coming for her, because like I said, she's just really talented, and she but you're right, it does seem like all those challenges are kind of geared towards her being successful at, right?
I mean, I don't, like you said, River, I don't have a problem with seeing the queens come back 2 or 3 times, because nobody really had a problem with Georges, and we've seen Georges on 2, 3 times in a row, like in this year alone. So nobody's complaining about Georges being back to back to back to back and being on on Drag Race a lot of times. So why are we mad at Ginger? Like, it's just the way it is. It's who they want to be on the show. So just enjoy them as they perform on the show, no matter who it is.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because we have seen Ginger 4 times. She's done 3 All Stars. They're spaced out every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Season
they
2,
were all great seasons.
Season 2, Season 6, Season 10. So how many times have we seen Ginger since the beginning of 2022? 1. How many times have we seen Georgia since the beginning of 2022? 3 times.
3.
And I
Absolutely.
don't see the same backlash for Georges. Georges
Nope.
was also
You know what? But you know
in the
why.
top. I do know why.
Like, we all know why.
Yes.
I do know why.
Unfortunately.
Because
And I hate it.
yeah, a lot of people are not just judged for what they're bringing to the show, but if you look a certain way, you get a pass. And it's really unfortunate, and it's actually really bothered me, because I think it's pretty obvious that that is a factor in the hate that Ginger has been getting.
Whether people want to admit it or not, it is.
Absolutely.
It just
Absolutely.
is.
It doesn't really matter if you're going to be like Ginger is very talented, like you said, River. She could have done it all on her own. I wish production would have protected her a little bit more, because making it
Yeah.
look so obvious made people give her all this hate for no reason at all. She could have been perfectly fine winning the challenges and not having to win all the lip syncs. One lip sync could have been enough if she would have won, and that would have perfectly got her safely into the next round. Winning everything and winning 2 lip sync, even if you think she did, don't make her win everything, because you're only doing her a disservice with the fans who's going to say everything is great for Ginger. Oh my God, y'all, we can't stand her. And we, like you said, we know why. We know why. But they could have done a better job. But the rest of this bracket, this was the bracket that everybody on this panel was excited about, and I was like, I have no clue of who any of these people are, so I want to know what is happening. Why is this bracket so good? And then I started seeing them come in, and I was like, oh, okay. Denali, fantastic. Acid Betty, amazing. Daya, really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, so fun and entertaining. And then now I find out all the nice stuff that she do behind the scenes. And she's just that girl. She's just that sweet. She's just that guy. Love Cuckoo. Alyssa, stunning, gorgeous, real. Like, I fell in love with this bracket. Like, my heart bracket is this bracket, because I was like, these people just made me really, really want to root for all of them. And seeing that only 3 of them was going to go on and not everybody, was like, I kind of want all of them to go through, because I really enjoyed their dynamic. Was it a little Ginger? I love Ginger. I was like, I do like her. She's so good. She is talented. She made me laugh in a lot of the challenges. I just really enjoyed the bracket. And the funny part is, this was the bracket I was on the channel the least because I was so busy and things like I couldn't watch at the same time and be able to talk about it. But this was the bracket I was on the least, but I liked the most. Or like I really enjoyed and fell in love with all of these characters for who they were. So I just was like, this was nice. This was not. Was it a little like I said, controversial? Yes, but enjoyable. I enjoyed it.
Well, if
The
you notice,
challenges
like
were good.
if you do notice, it's like every bracket sort of had something to kind of like really have a thought process over.
Hmm.
Mhm.
You know? So I mean, it is actually it's doing the job as far as the game goes. When you think about it, you just got to think further and also hold people accountable towards like, the fandom and like how are they treating people and, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that would be really interesting to see what the semifinals look like, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I will say this: I am more upset at the way Acid Betty was treated in this bracket, and just not given her flowers as much as she deserved than anything else in this bracket. Honestly, I was just like, especially the comments on the design challenge about her skirt, like that outfit was amazing. I I'm just so mad at the way that she was. She deserved a better showing. I still think she had a great showing, but I don't know. I was just rooting for her so hard, and I just feel like she deserved better. She's the one that I wished went through. I am happy that we had the person that went through because of the points, but I wish that it had been Acid Betty, just because I love her so much. But we're still gonna see her kind of in a way, right? Because she's allegedly designing for someone in the next round. So
Oh, oh, okay.
so we
Okay.
might see some acid looks on the stage. I hope.
Yeah, we shall see.
We shall see.
I think what's interesting also is that each group had some sort of controversy with the points. I thought at least one of them it would be pretty straightforward, no drama. But we got a pretty dramatic conclusion with this group, especially with Daya's reaction to Alyssa giving a point to Cynthia instead of herself. So I was wondering, whose side were you on in this drama, Jaylene?
Oh, well, I think it was like one of the things that they made it very clear that they were going to support each other, kind of like family unit, right? Like anti Cynthia, and that was there. I think it was just a little bit. Um, I don't know if maybe Daya didn't think Cynthia deserved to get it, so she was feeling some sort of way. But I think that it kind of backfired a bit on her when she came up because Alyssa was like, well, you saying she's not good? You saying she didn't deserve it? So I think that was definitely interesting to watch. I think Daya, though, we know had a little bit of a bite. Like her season, she was like, had some run-ins with people. So I think that, she kind of brought that, even though I think she's learned a lot since her season, and you can tell. I think maybe that particular moment there was something in there that was like fiery in her that was leading the way at that moment.
I think she just thought that when Alyssa said she was going to give the point to the queen doing the most consistently, Daya thought about her concept of who was doing consistently in her opinion,
Hmm.
or she
Yes.
thought that Alyssa was saying about the judges, who was doing consistently in the opinion of the judges, but Alyssa never said that. Alyssa was saying consistently in her own opinion, and then Daya just assumed, and
You know what happens when you
you know what they
assume?
say. Exactly.
I, I'm like, you can't get mad at somebody for they vote, for they point, they do what they want with it. That's
Yeah,
the whole
exactly.
purpose. That's the whole purpose. Like, boo, you can't do that. You can't, do that. But I feel like that's what Alyssa wanted to do. That's what she did. So You can't get mad at somebody. Like that's like me getting mad at you because you voted one way. I didn't want you to vote that way. That's not your call. That's not your call. It is what it is. But
Well, there's people that are watching the show. They like to see a little bit of conflict. They like to see sort of how people react to, being put on the spot. But they also like, as you see at the very end of it, they also like to see people who are bringing some really great community to that set also
mhm.
rise up. And we saw that. So I think that, a little bit of, there's people that just, they don't like that. They want, but I always believe it's like kindness leads the way. And I think that, at the end of the day, to see Cynthia get that point was, I really appreciated, that moment. And Ugly Betty, not Ugly
Not
Betty,
ugly Betty.
sorry, that I didn't mean that to come out like that.
It's a show on TV,
Acid
guys.
Betty,
Come
It's
on.
too many Bettys. It's too
It's
many
a lot of
Bettys.
Bettys.
I'm gonna get
Relax out there.
the edit of being the I can't even think the villain edit now. But no, I tell you, when that moment was really great for me. But I mean, you had a little bit of everything, so I
Mhm.
mean, that's was interesting to watch. So let's remember that.
Absolutely.
As Acid Betty campaigning, like the politician, like since the beginning, just like, what are we gonna do with the points?
Right.
Daya also had a little bit of a tiff. I think it was in the beginning of the second episode before they gave out the points, I think, where she was talking to Acid about, oh, what is everyone thinking about doing with the points? And then Acid said, well, you're not getting one.
Mhm.
And then Daya said, well, what about the group? You don't speak. And then Acid said, I speak for the
For the
group.
group.
Ah,
That was my
I
favorite thing.
live.
I live.
I
I was
love
like,
it.
I speak for the group. Like, okay, well,
That
yeah,
was
she
so
speaks for
good.
the group. That was funny.
And the
But
way she was campaigning for her sister, like instead of for herself, you know what I mean? Like she was campaigning
mhm,
to get Cynthia through instead of being like, give me your points. You know what I mean? I love her.
Yeah,
absolutely.
her
Let's
fashion
talk.
was
Oh,
good. I love.
The
good
Eat the
segue.
Rich. Oh,
I'm about to say good
love it.
segue because I was literally just about to say, let's talk about the fashions of this group. What do we think about the fashions? Any standouts?
Oh, I did say mine. The Eat the Rich, the Marie Antoinette paper. Like when she turned around and it said
Yeah.
that, I love it. I love drag with a political commentary. I just love it. And Denali's as well with the paper one with the fox. So stunning.
The
Hmm.
was like the good and the bad. Like I love the diabetes. I found her like, I think she with Ginger. Um,
Hmm.
it was
Hmm.
just really chic and just so like I love that. And Denali's I loved as well too, right? Yeah, that there's some Alyssa's in the red when she did I can't remember what
Mm-hmm.
when that was, but it like all really great fashion.
Hmm.
Maybe not the green paper one of Cuckoo's, but
Mm.
Well, with that said, though, like that was my favorite runway category of the season so far because I thought, besides Cuckoo, I thought everybody was so good in this past
Mm-hmm.
episode with the looks. Denali has one of my absolute favorite looks of the season with the fox. Um, and of course, Acid Betty, like River mentioned, but I think Diabetes was really good too. The bug look, I thought that was so cool. So,
yeah.
But I was watching Roscoe's and Alyssa said that they were specifically told that the whole look was supposed to be made out of 100% paper.
Yeah.
And Daya had a corset underneath the paper thing. So she technically did not follow the rules. But it was still a very good look. But I just thought I would add that in because Alyssa did. And so I'm like, okay, let's be fair. Everyone else was just 100% paper. So
Yeah.
I
I like the story of Cynthia's though. I thought that was really powerful.
mm.
mhm.
love that. I see nobody mention the Night of a Thousand Mileys from this conversation. So
Oh, I
mm,
like Cuckoo's.
I think Cuckoo did really good on. I think that was all right, but I was not impressed by the Night of a Thousand Mileys. I think I was like, it's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm
Denali's
like,
was cool, like with the bear.
Denali's
That was
was cool.
cool,
I
but
think
like,
that was cool. I think hers was better than Miley's, if we can be honest. But that's just, you know.
see, Acid Betty's was definitely my favorite in that group. I thought it was so good.
I like the skirt. I don't know, it was something else that I didn't particularly like about it, but I liked it
I think it was
enough.
the boobs, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
The
the
yeah.
yeah, the airframe it or whatever
Hmm.
boobs on it. I was like,
Right.
it made it look dirty in the chest, and I was like, yeah, I don't like that. But I just didn't particularly like that run. I think that was my least favorite runway of this entire season was the Night of 1,000 Miley's because Miley is not known for fashion, and so I'm like, what are we
She's
doing this for?
known for street fashion, is the thing.
She's known for bad
Not like
fashion.
not
Look,
runway
Miley's
fashion.
known for bad fashion. Like
Well, I
she
liked
had a
Alyssa.
couple
No,
of
she
good
was the
ones.
Coachella girl. She had a lot of influence in like other in just like everyday wear. You know what I mean?
She was
I'm
I'm
just
alright.
glad
saying.
that Alyssa did the Grammys look because
Yeah,
that was like in the Bob Mackie when she came out and did that. That was like
that was good.
amazing.
It was really, really good. I liked that from Miley on the stage. I thought I was like, "Oh, this is did good." It just looked exactly like it. There was nothing different dragged up about it. It was just, but honestly, I was like, "But she don't have to drag this up because that's really just a Bob Mackie is a drag look art." Like I
Yeah.
don't care what I say. Mackie makes clothes for drag queens,
Yeah.
hands down, and everybody else just wears them because those looks that they make, I'm like, come on,
I
who's
mean,
wearing
Cher on the
this?
shit like she was doing drag. Hello, that's drag.
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of Bob Mackie looks are just like I could see on any drag queen, and like, yep, that's a queen's look. Yep, that's a drag queen look, and I think that's what the aesthetic is for Bob for that, and I love it. But yeah, I enjoyed the fashions a little a lot. I think I don't know who had the best overall fashions out of the three brackets. I'm not gonna rack my brain to figure that out, but I think this season we had really good fashions, and I was very impressed all around. And
I think
but
it's
move.
because the queens only had to prepare like a few looks, so they were able to
Mhm.
focus more time, attention, and money. You know, and everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. But moving on to the next round from this bracket was Ginger, Daya, and Cuckoo Cynthia. Um,
In a crazy turn of events.
Crazy turn of events because I personally went into there thinking, oh, Denali's gonna win this. It's gonna be Denali and Daya and um Ginger. I did not watch the episode because I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. And then I got online and was like, wait, what? Huh? What do y'all mean Denali is not in the next round? What happened? So now I had to go back and watch it and find out what actually happened. And I was like, okay, well, that happened. Wow. Wow. Maybe look, maybe bracket two isn't the most controversial. Maybe it was just this was the right no. Yeah, this was a controversial one. This was the most controversial and not just the ginger, but the outcome of it all. But my question is, would anybody change the bottom three, the top three? Will we replace people or move some things around? Anybody? Anybody?
Yes.
Well, I think that's where the point system comes in too, because when you think about that, they were actually really moved when they're making their decisions. You know, when somebody would say something, you could see them physically react, like,
Mhm.
like because they didn't know if they made the right decision or things like
Right.
that. So I think that part of the game that is makes it like, oh, like you're following like at that point, you don't know who it's gonna go to, so you got to think about like, okay, well, who would I want to kind of move forward? And if they choose you and you didn't choose them, then you feel kind of bad about it, right?
Right. David, who would you switch around?
Yeah, I know I probably sound like a hater, but I probably would have taken out Cynthia
Hmm.
and put in Denali. But I will say what made it palatable for me, because I've never been a big fan of Cynthia as a drag race contestant. Like she's a great person, but on drag race, I don't think she thrives in a lot of her seasons. But what I will say is I thought she did really well in that improv challenge, the Golden Bachelor. So that
Mm-hmm.
made it more palatable for me. I'm like, okay, probably would have had her in the top two. So I guess I'm okay with her moving on.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with her moving on too, because in my opinion, she could have been in the top for the second challenge, the country, and she could have been in the top, in my opinion, for the acting challenge. So I'm not mad with her going through. But if I went with who I thought was the top two in each of the things, and then this not considering the extra points, it would have been Ginger, Acid Betty, and either Denali or Cynthia
Mm. Okay.
for me.
Well, when
But
you
I
think
think
about it,
Acid Betty was in the top in the first and the second challenge for me.
Okay.
when we mentioned about the challenges being kind of geared towards Ginger at the beginning, if you think about it, that could have worked for Cynthia too, because she
Yeah.
is that kind of character, right? And she puts into the real fun into the characters. And I think as far as if it was more fashion focused, I think Diabetes would have been leading it more. And she's in the top, but I mean, I find that she was really strong with her 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 looks were really tight. All of them were really great. I did find that Denali was like, I thought her performance was just spectacular at the end, the lip sync. But I didn't really, once again, when you see that, you don't really see their full performances because they're going one to another. So you don't really see everything. So I think but I probably, like, I was surprised that Cynthia went through because I thought somebody was going to, pick Denali. I don't know. I just kind of thought that's how it was going to play. But like I said, when Betty said that about how strong Cynthia is, I like that in Drag Race. I like when people when they lift people up for that.
Me too.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love that Cynthia went through and the way that it happened. I think it's a good thing for the fandom as well to kind of bring some lightness to it, to be like, it's also supposed to be fun. You know what I
Right.
mean? And we're also supposed to be uplifting each other and not turning on each other. Like, and also during Pride Month, all of that happened. Like, come on.
Right.
It's
I think the three, everybody who, in my opinion, if you made it, you deserved it. Because if you wasn't supposed to be there, you wouldn't be there. But you made it, you deserved it. No matter how you got there, you deserve it.
Yeah.
So now we have to talk about predictions now because we have gotten through all three brackets. We have talked about everybody. We know who's moving on. What do we think is about to start happening now? Because it's like a whole new game is about to start right now. We get a whole nother drag race season in this 3 seasons that we all like. They were 3 short seasons, and now we're getting into the main season of Drag Race now, and we got our 9 people who are going to start off and pretty much start this journey over. And then we got the twist of one of them, of the people who didn't make it, is going to come back at the end in the finale. We just going to let them bypass all this work from, from these whatever, how many weeks until we get to the finale. And somebody's going to come in and join as a wild card. What do we think is about to happen? Who do we think is about to, or is going to shine? Like, who's going to come out of the gate, like, eating up this competition?
Hmm.
we don't know the format yet of the next episodes, right? Is the thing.
Is it going to be
Do
like a
we?
regular season of Drag Race? I don't
That's
know.
what I don't know. I think
I
though
think some
that the
people
next,
do.
Huh?
well, some
Some
people
people
do.
do.
I don't know, but
Oh, I don't know.
we're not supposed to know is the thing, right? But I'm pretty sure that the next episode, the challenge is Snatch Game, I think, right? I don't know if
Yes.
that
Yes, they showed
it's
that
good.
in
I
the
think
preview.
it's,
Okay.
yeah. So with that in mind,
Ooh.
you know,
I mean,
Well, I
Ginger
think
might eat it
also
up.
the person that's coming back at the end can still be one from these brackets too, right?
Yes.
oh, you mean
Mm.
from this next part?
Yeah.
Yes, from the next. Yeah,
Wow.
it can be someone that was eliminated.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did now see. I'm spilling the tea on me. I did not realize that.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Oh. So
Yes.
just so in case somebody like gets eliminated next week first, they can actually come back and be in the.
Yes.
And there's
Ah.
only
So,
3 more episodes left for the whole season. So
Oh wow.
okay, so
Okay.
with that in mind, from the 9 people that didn't go through, because we don't know yet what's going to happen, right? So we can't predict who the person is that's coming back is going to be, right?
Right.
But from the people that we know so far, who would we choose?
Who would we want to come back?
Yeah, like if we were the judges,
yeah,
because we have Olivia, Deja Sky,
Phoenix.
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 Then we have
Carrie.
Nicole Page Brooks,
Carrie
Tina
Colby.
Burner, and Carrie, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Acid Betty,
Mm-hmm.
Alyssa Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
and Denali.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I said it on our recap with Jeannie, but for me,
Carrie.
Denali is the person I want to see. I know.
Oh, I thought it would be Carrie. Okay.
Carrie was a very close second for me.
Who would you want?
Yeah, I'd have to say I'd like to see Carrie, I think.
Okay.
She's like supermodel, really, Carrie.
See, the person that I would want to come back would be Acid Betty, but with it be knowing that it's going to be a lip sync thing, I don't know how that would go, so I think maybe Denali. But also maybe Tina
But those are
Burner.
the people that aren't there yet. But it could be like, for example, if Bosco was out, I'd love to see Bosco be brought in to just like those lip
Yeah.
syncs. That
Just a lip sync. Yeah.
it's layered in like costume and fashion and movement and sexuality. It's like all like so exciting.
Yeah, so
I
like
wanna-
because it's a lip sync thing, I think I'm thinking who would I want to see lip sync? And the person I want to see more lip syncs from would be Denali, I think.
I kind of want to see Olivia come back. I feel like she's not getting enough love, and like people are just like writing her off, and I'm like, I don't think so. I think it would be nice to see. I think, like you said, the glow up that she had was incredible, and I want to see more of it. So I would like to see Olivia come back. But who we think win a snatch game though?
I think Ginger. I think Ginger has a good chance because of what we know and we've seen so far.
She's won twice before.
She's won
Well,
twice. Yes.
Yeah.
Who else? I think Bosco. I think might do well. I think Bosco.
I was
'Cause-
all sold on Ginger. I kind of figured I'm like Ginger's probably gonna win it,
Yeah,
and
wrap
I
it up.
wouldn't be surprised. Like wrap it
but
up, I really think.
I think we're gonna have a top 2, right? So I'm thinking who are the 2 people that could do well?
Mhm.
Ginger for sure. I think Bosco could do well because she didn't do well in her original, but she is very funny. So I think if
Remember-
she came with a better character, she can do well.
Remember Aja as Crystal LaBeija?
Hmm.
That was
Oh, yeah.
like amazing. I'd love to see.
Yeah. Irene, now that we know that she's a good
Oh, yeah,
actress,
yeah,
I think Irene
Yeah.
might.
I think I can see
Yeah.
Irene pulling it out and doing something wild and crazy that the judges just go wild for. So I can because here's the way Irene ate up that first bracket, like ate it up down. Like there was no question. I don't think it's gonna stop with just those 3 that bracket. She's going to come in because she got a lot. She got to prove. She still feel like she got to prove herself. And I'm like, baby, you have done that. Proven record done. Like check that off the box. But I don't think she's going to be done until it's over. So I think Irene is going to come in and like eat this up. And I think her and Ginger that's I'm calling it. Irene and Ginger top 2 in Snatch
I
Game.
hope so.
That's who I think.
Well,
I'm
it's
calling it.
also for Snatch Game too, because I think about like the actual, if you think about drag and the different elements of it, there's some people that are really strong at really emoting and painting so dramatically. It's like this is where you really get to see a craft. There's like you see some people when they're doing the death drops and the really great physical dance moves. Those are amazing, exciting to watch. But so is the amazing characterization. That's something that I find I'm really good at, is being able to shift into character and to be able to, what I've been doing for years now. So when I see it and I see people able to do that, like Irene did in the acting challenge there, where she went from that one character to the next, like quick, like that is like, that was brilliant. So I love seeing that. I love when people feel they're in this space and they're able to kind of really take advantage of that moment, because you just have that moment. So you got to know, like, for example, when Jinx did it as Judy Garland, and she was like, she's just locked in, she says, I am taking ownership of this. And so, like, that's where you just see, when you're there, it's like, grab a character where you can actually quickly lock in that you are that's where, like, a real magic of that element of drag comes to life.
Absolutely. I am just excited. Like I said, this feels like we're into a whole nother stage of this All Stars. We don't know the format. Well, some of us do, some of us don't. We don't know what's going to happen next. All we know is that these are the 9 people that are moving on to the next round to do some things that we're going to watch on television, and it's going to be interesting. And then somebody's coming back at the end. I I'm just I'm just sad. I think this was a good format for this All Stars. I think it might have been for other All Stars. Was this the first time this is the format? Is this
Yes.
is their first time? Okay. I like this. I hope they keep it. I hope they keep it because I feel like I enjoy watching everybody there for at least 3 episodes, and then we're moving on, getting new people for another 3 I enjoyed that aspect because it felt like I was watching 3 different seasons of in one season. And then we're gonna have this. Now we're watching another season because now we have all the people who were there before. I just enjoy it. I hope they keep it. I can't wait to watch it. I am extremely sad for the for the rest of this season. I'm like, okay, let's bring it. Now I'm excited for the next part, but I don't know what else we got to say. If there's anything y'all want to talk about that we didn't mention in this.
Who do we think? Because we don't know who's coming back, right, for that wild card, or who's gonna move on to the finale. But with the people that have gone through the next round, who do we think from those people could maybe win potentially? Or, like, who are we rooting for? Because those are two different things, right?
I'm
Who
about
do
to
we
say
think
two
can
different
win,
things.
and
Absolutely.
who are you rooting for? We can.
Right. Because for me, I feel like this is Ginger's All Stars to lose at this point. I really think that if she continues on what she's doing, she's is it has a really good shot of winning this. Um, but I also am not counting out Irene because I feel like she is determined and she's focused and she's like zoned in on what she's doing, and she's really good at doing almost everything that she's done. She's really good at it. But then you got these different little like wild cards within this group that can just pop up out of nowhere because Lydia is very much
Mhm.
unknown to a lot of these people, and they don't really know exactly what she can do. We saw what she can do on 17, but they didn't see it because she was literally whisked away and brought into this. So
And they
they
had time. Now they had
right
time to prepare
right now it's
for
time, and
this.
so I fear like Lydia could be a dark horse in this competition that people won't see coming. So those are my 3 that I'm keeping my eye on.
I think when we see Lydia, though, right now for us, it's almost like, what can't she do?
Right.
Right.
Because she's been displaying at a young age, right? And she's been quite quiet and kind of like, you know, um, as far as, like, she doesn't have a loud voice, but when she comes out, like, it's the runways too, right? I think that if that
Mhm.
hits, because you can do really good in a challenge, if your runway isn't as strong, then that can kind of skew that too, right? So
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to seeing the runways for sure.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. I think for me, who I think is going to win is Ginger, and who I want to win. I wouldn't be mad if Ginger won. I will say that. But who I am
Mhm.
rooting for is Irene and Bosco.
Mhm.
Yeah.
David, what about you?
Yeah. So before I saw how the internet was, Ginger was the person I wanted to win. But I
Hmm.
don't. I think if she wins, it will not be an enjoyable experience for me. I don't think the fan
Or
base
for
will.
her.
I mean, she will be
Maybe.
cashing a check for $200,000, so I'm sure she'll
Right.
get over
I'm
it.
sure she will not care about what these people
Yeah,
think.
but so with that in mind, I think just for peace of mind, I think it'd be really cool to see Irene win. So I'm just nervous because it's like a lip sync for the win at the end. So, and her lip syncs have not been the absolute best of anybody. Who I think will win though. So if they've already filmed it and they have a top two, and if Ginger is there, I think they will give it to whoever Ginger is up against, because I think the backlash that she's gotten, they're not going to give it to her. So the person I've had in mind since before the season, I think Bosco. I think Bosco is going to win. And we know she can lip sync. She's got a pretty big following. She's reliable in challenges. So yeah, I think it's Bosco's to lose.
Okay. Well,
Well, you just have my head spinning now. Going all around, it's
Here's
like,
the thing. No,
call me
yeah,
mother.
because everything that everyone said is like, yes, I agree about like everyone, but no one mentioned, and I'm thinking like, who could really win is Georges.
Georges.
You
Because
were to say
I mean,
Aja.
not that she's not
Oh,
talented, but RuPaul loves her,
Georges. Yeah.
and she's talented. So like, if she does at least good, she can. I mean,
I can
and then
see
it's a lip
Georges.
sync.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I can see Georges making it far for that because of what you said. River RuPaul loves her, and Georges is talented. Georges is going to do well, and especially performance-based challenges, she's going to do well. But it's like these three brackets with all these three individuals, they were great in each of their brackets. All of them were great in their own bracket. Now you bring them together, and it's like all of this is oh, it just makes me so much more excited because like they were really good in their brackets. Are they gonna all be really good in here? Are we just gonna get goodness and greatness every show, every performance? Probably
Hey,
not. I'm
Belinda, let's
probably
do a show.
right. Like it's gonna be greatness every single time, and everybody's gonna be great. We're gonna be sitting here like everybody was good, and I have to nitpick on why this person didn't win and why this person's at the top, and it's just like realistically, I don't think that's going to be the case because we're going to see people not do as great, but it's still going to be fun to watch.
See, I was thinking about now. I just thought about like how they are all gonna interact together when they come together, and I'm thinking
Hmm.
about the whole mistress thing. I'm
It's not
thinking
going to be point.
who's gonna be the person that's gonna stand up to, and I'm thinking Aja and Mistress. Like if Mistress tries to come for Aja, I think that's where we can see something going on.
I mean, they showed a
Well,
fight in the preview.
And Irene, right? Because they were on the same season, and so
True. They showed a fight involving Mistress and somebody else in the preview.
Oh,
do we know
well,
who it is
true.
yet, or they didn't
It's
show?
it's Ginger. It seems like they're
Oh,
getting into it.
Oh,
okay.
oh, okay.
Well, I can't
Well,
wait
right.
to see how
Can't
this
wait.
turns out.
And we are going to talk about it on Friday when we do what we do and it come out on Saturday. But I don't know if anybody else have anything because I ain't got nothing else because I've been talking. We've been talking for an hour and a half and we pretty much cleared all of these brackets. And just know we will be back on Friday to discuss the merge episode was we're doing Snatch Game and all of this stuff. But first and foremost, Jaylene, thank you so much for joining us for this special episode of our merge recap. You have been a delight and a joy, and we appreciate you so, so much.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. Like I said, we love this podcast, and you're really part of our experience with Drag Race, our cast season 5, and that's really important. And I just want to say this as well: it's there's all these artists that are coming back for All Stars, and I really believe it's true, is like, you just, when you're on here and when you're part of the drag race family, is like, you just continue to strengthen your art and you learn really what you love to do, and I think that is really exciting to see. So like, anybody that's on there is already a winner, and I do like to see the fact that you do have people that are like, it's even also the physical transformation with Mistress and Ginger, and in their weight loss journey, and to see kind of all of that, and like, everyone just keeps pushing forward to kind of reveal their best self, whatever that is. And I love that about drag. I love the fact that we can collaborate with other artists and create these amazing costumes, and also to reveal something in herself with confidence, and but also to learn how to be able to show up in our strongest form too. But this is the queer experience, like you said, it was Pride Month, and this is a time where you come together and you realize is that there's a space for everyone, and if there's not, we've got to create it, and drag does that. And wow, how grateful I am to be part of such an amazing art form, but also the opportunity to create shows that are having conversations that are making us think, and making us realize that you all love drag, I love drag, and we're able to see the fact that not so long ago, this was the thing that it wasn't accessible for people, and it was viewed as something as problematic, and not safe for children, and things like that, all that ridiculous stuff. Well, just know that I know whenever I see drag artists come together and stand in their power and express themselves through their art, it is a good thing. So thank you for inviting me. Love you all, and can't wait to connect again.
It's a
Love
beautiful
you.
thing. We love you. And this is your moment to just shout out anything that you got coming up. So anybody out there who's listening, if they're in the area, they can come and support you, because we need to support Jaylene Time, and let's tip her everything, do all the things.
Give the queen $1.
Well, I am on Instagram at Jaylene Tyme. I love my link tree. It's got a bunch of stuff. I'm really grateful that with my experience, I'm traveling across Turtle Island, Canada, and I'm going to a bunch of different prides, and I'm taking my finale dress on tour, and so she gets to see a lot of people, and I really love that. At the end of that, that's going into the Textile Museum of Toronto. So we're getting out there, and we're showing up, and this is the thing. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be invited to different communities, and we still have Pride all summer, so you'll see me somewhere. But a way to keep connected with me is on my Instagram or even TikTok. I pop up and say hi to people every so often. But yeah, I'm out there. I'm doing my thing, and like I said, this is definitely something that I didn't even realize. And I say this that every time I speak. Remember this: the power inside of you is to be you, and the only limit of what you can achieve in your life is your imagination. So get to work.
Period. And
Love
Pride is
that.
365 days of the year, y'all. We celebrate Pride every day. If you celebrate
Mhm.
what you love and who you are every single day. So Pride is 365, and yes, whatever you celebrate in your life, just celebrate it all year. But thank you, Jaylene. We adore you here. We adore you so much. You are mother to us on this podcast, and you're a mother to a lot of queens out there. We absolutely
Love Jaylene.
love
I love you too.
Jaylene. But you guys, this is it. We're gonna get out of here. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Follow us on this channel, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to all of our channels. We help us reach our mission of 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. Follow us on our audio podcast links, join our Patreon. Uh, Follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. I can speak. Get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is also in the description below. And we're going to say good night, cheers, and go watch another video. Don't stop now. Bye,
Cheers.
y'all. Cheers.
Cheers.